Greetings, mortal. Ready to rock?
The I Am the Storm podcast.
Hold on. Darkness just texted me.
Hello and welcome everyone to another episode of the Eye of the Storm podcast, a podcast about Blizzard's MOBA, Heroes of the Storm.
Yeah.
I am one of your hosts, Christian Ballmer, aka Lupen.
And I am your other host, David Hendricks, also known as Yoshi.
All right, well, pretty exciting week this week, Yoshi. What have you been up to though? What's been going on in your life?
Dota, man.
Dota.
Yeah, it's been full of Dota, more and more Dota, and it's like actually not completely as much Dota as you think because the Diablo expansion and everything.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, Reaper of Souls came out today. Yeah, today actually.
Yeah, so I played a little bit of Diablo, not as much as some other people, but yeah, Diablo's great, Dota's great. It's pretty much it for what I've been up to.
Did you end up buying the expansion for Diablo, or were you just mess around just to take a look at the patch?
I was messing around to make sure that I still like Diablo, because it was just like I was just like, I haven't played this game in a while. Let's hop back on. It's like, all right, my gear's cool, everything, but I don't know. Maybe if I break down soon, which will probably happen, I'll probably end up picking up Reaper of Souls. But we'll see.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. I find myself hopping into Diablo and playing for like literally a minute, and then like I'm like, I just don't feel like it. I don't know what it is about it. I just can't find or put myself to put time into the game, you know?
Yeah, like, you know, because it's like I would have to, because a couple people are just power leveling because, you know, it was like double XP.
Yeah.
And there's been people who are just like power level. I'm like, I can't do it.
No,
I can't do it.
It's just, yeah, it's nothing like really against the game or anyone that's playing it, honestly, but it's that type of game that I guess I don't just get as much reward out of it. I don't know. Maybe it's like the competition level, that kind of thing, because the only thing I remember doing for that is what they do, like Inferno runs, right?
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure they changed that this time around too. It's like Torment or something like that. I think that's the next level, or like I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know for
you
sure.
have to double check. Yeah, double check.
But well, cool, man. I'm glad you're trying to get your MOBA fix, right?
Yeah, man. I mean, it's a beautiful game.
It is. Me and David actually just started. He got me into it this past week, and I've been messing around with it a little bit. Not to get too off topic from the show, but I'm definitely starting to understand at least some more, like, I guess, basics about like MOBAs, like your exact positioning, when to group up, when not to group up, things like that.
Yeah. And the thing about it is, what's different between Dota and Heroes of the Storm is the whole farming. You know,
yeah.
It's like it's not necessarily I should be farming this. It should be I should be doing the objective, which may include farming, but
it's
anything of that nature.
It's very, very like minuscule from what I've noticed. Just for the listeners, one of my friends that I play WoW with, he let me use his account a little bit. I don't know how this guy got an alpha key, but he let me use it, and I'm very gracious for it. So I have a little bit more to speak to, I guess, on that topic. But still, it's going to be nice to compare it to Dota. But before we get started, I kind of want to talk about a couple new things. David had mentioned a site. What was the site we were just looking at, David, for tournaments?
Collegiate Star, or talking about Collegiate Star League?
Yes,
or,
yes.
Tespa?
Well, that one, I wanted to talk about the one that you brought up first before we get to Tespa.
Yeah. Oh yeah, CSL.
So, also, I just figured out or found out that Tespa is doing a Hearthstone tournament for college students. So, if any of our listeners are college students, which me and David both are, I highly recommend. I personally entered myself just for the hell of it, you know. Why not? You know, I don't know exactly what the meta of the game is, but let's give it a shot. Maybe go for some scholarship money. Who knows?
Have a little fun.
Right, and if you get in the Final Four too, they actually fly you out to PAX East, and you get to do the tournament in front of a bunch of people, I guess, and they live stream it and everything. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah. Fame, fortune, and scholarships. I mean, you can't ask for more.
Yeah, seriously. Get rid of those loans or chip away at them a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
But like I said, before we get started, our other episode is up on YouTube, so check it out. As we go through each of these episodes, we're going to kind of be changing some things up as far as what we talk about, what you're going to actually see. I don't want to just stick to the plain old blue screen. It's not too fun, to look at.
Blue screen, great screen right there.
Yeah,
best screen in A.
It's not the blue screen of death, we promise. But once again, we're up to like 90 viewers after this podcast, just from people we've told and stuff like that. But tell people Heroes of the Storm's new thing, so we don't have everything about it, but we love talking about it, and tell your friends. And then also email us at heroestormpodcast@gmail.com, and that is heroestorm with one S. We were going to put two S's, but we're kind of goofy. Now it's just a weird in between. So
Yeah.
But all right, well, let's go ahead and get started with the news. David, is there anything that your excitement level changed a little bit the past week on some things after we talked about it, or has it stayed the same? I mean, what's been wrong?
After a little bit of data mining from the people on Heroes of the Storm, they found a little voiceover added for someone who I might be a little excited for.
Oh, yeah.
And finally, a panda is hopefully coming soon to Heroes of the Storm.
It looks like it. It looks like it, definitely.
Yeah, because one of those things was like, when Heroes of the Storm first came out, I'm sitting here and I'm just like, okay, all right, that's cool. You're great character pick right there. Good job. Where's the pandas?
Right.
Where's the pandas? Because, I love pandas. So.
Who doesn't, honestly? No. But, I think my theory on that is maybe that they were trying to get the key Blizzard heroes in first,
Yeah, definitely.
And I know World of Warcraft people are very, not shy, but they're kind of uncomfortable. Some people at least still are with the pandas. I personally like them, and I know one of the dev interviews where they were talking about World of Warcraft, they were actually going to add them in Burning Crusade.
Oh, wow.
So you're talking about their first expansion, and all these people are complaining about pandas when they were going to add them. I mean, if it was the first expansion, would people complain?
Yeah.
But hopefully more to come. Lily Stormstout, that's an interesting one. I am curious to see Chen, too, because that was the one I was expecting.
I was going to say, Chen's going to be the one that, out of the Stormstouts, Chen's going to be the one that I'm excited for, so.
Yeah, he's probably going to have. I'm seeing him maybe as like a tank, warrior tank kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely in that warrior tank class where he's like, come at me, bro.
Right, exactly. Which is funny. As soon as I can figure out how to get this video up of me, my first time playing Heroes of the Storm, I did the tutorial, and I'm just getting a little away from the news, but I did the tutorial, and I'm like, you know what? I'm doing awesome on the tutorial. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go for a versus match, play against some real people. Bad idea. Let me tell you, I get in there and they're like, they're talking about strategy, and I think I know what I'm doing, and I played Muradin, okay? And so Muradin's supposed to be a tank, warrior tank, like we were saying with Chen. And I go out there, and I'm not tanking at all. And the person playing Sergeant Hammer just starts complaining so hard about how horrible I am. And I'm just like, I'm sorry, dude. I'm just like, I'm testing some things out. And he's like, you should be testing it out against the computers. And so my first versus match was pretty interesting.
Was it worse than the first game of Dota?
I don't know. That was pretty bad. But
it's just I mean, that's the thing is every community will have it's Debbie Downers, but there's always going to be good people too. So
go ahead.
And plus from the few hours that I've put into StarCraft, StarCraft 2 has one of the greatest friendly player bases I've ever seen.
Right.
Ever. It's just every game starts off with, hey, good luck, have fun, and it's not too much trash talking as far as just through standard online matches. I know that on LAN and stuff it gets pretty testy, pretty hype stuff, but
I mean, that's one of those games where that curve, like people who are good at StarCraft are good. Like
Yeah.
their actions per minute are pretty high, So, but it's gonna, it's funny that you bring up those good people, because when I was playing that match, there was a person in there too that was like, hey, come on, man, like this is the alpha of the game, like, and this isn't even a rank match.
Exactly.
And that's what I was getting at. I was like, I'm just learning to play, but you could clearly tell the team we were playing against knew what they were doing. Like, they were lining up for kills, they knew when to pull back, and they would call out, like, you could tell that, like, if I get separated at all, that they would just immediately know where I was at, and they just gang up on me and get me. But anyways, I digress. For those of you that don't know, the hero rotation for this week is Tyrande, Stitches, Diablo, Kerrigan, Tychus, and Nova. I did get to try Nova. Nova's pretty sweet, I'll be honest. We were talking about Tychus just sitting in the back, just doing work. That's kind of following that path.
Oh, I can believe it.
But the funny thing about him is we didn't notice this either, I don't think, when we looked at the hero abilities. Some of his are short-range hero abilities. So he's going to have to kind of get up there a little bit. Nova, on the other hand, literally can just snipe kills with her first ability that's called Snipe, believe it or not. I know, right? But yeah, check those out. I know the rotations. That's the rotation. It just reset today. Anyways, moving on. Hero Cinema, I found this on Reddit. Actually, they are releasing different guides. Did you have a chance to look at any of those, David? Or
not as many as I wanted to, but
okay. Well, I mean, I'm sure you could see it's pretty much the same thing as the videos that we talked about last week, as far as the abilities go. But they did a better job, I think, with pairing up the talents.
Okay.
Showing what talents work with what abilities, because that's a big thing. Is since there's no items, since there's no I mean, that's pretty much it. Since there's no items, it comes down to talents, what you're going to choose. So, and then also, we pull this information from Heroes Nexus, but the talent calculator, they've started releasing those too, to just go along exactly with that. So, from what I've seen, they're already making quite a few changes on some talents and some abilities. So, they're at least being proactive about knowing what's overpowered.
Yeah, that's the thing, which is pretty good. I mean, like I said, it's an alpha form, so I mean, this game is going to change day by day almost. So it's good to know that, with just they see the slightest thing, it's like it's good that they catch these things, or good that they have an informative player base who's like, hey, you should probably check this out. So.
And it's not going to be anything quick either. I'm not expecting it to be quick because it's an alpha. But if like WoW and Diablo and StarCraft, if there are any, if you're looking at them, they usually are pretty good about getting hot fixes out on stuff that if they see it's overpowered, boom, they know it. Can't expect it in the alpha stage though, which is makes sense. But all right, moving on to features, they released everything. It looks like, but all of it was structures. So looking at the structures, David, what would you say are some big differences right off the bat compared to Dota 2?
Definitely the gate. The gate is it's one of those things where it helps and hurts you at the same time. Like I said, that's how I see it as. It's good because so say you're playing against really aggressive people in lane, and they get you really low, but you get on the other side of your gate.
Yep.
And it's like they're not able to get through because of that gate. But it's possible they could dive you. But the thing is, with gates, it's almost not possible to dive. So it's like one of those things where it's like they can't come after you, but maybe the what if of what if they went after me and then tower ended up destroying them or something like that.
That's true. Yeah.
But it's one of those things where it's like I like it. And then I'm like, okay. I mean, it's gonna make people play smarter, which most games don't do.
From what I've noticed with this, it aggravates the hell out of me. Just because, I mean, they have that option to get behind the gate, and like you're saying, they can't dive forward and go for the kill. It's if they get behind it, they're safe. It's like they just disappear, And the worst thing about that too, we'll get to them, but is the healing fountains behind the gates.
Yes. And those are very important too, because from looking at it, like I said, you can't buy items, so that healing fountain is going to be your regen to keep you in lane and everything. It's just like, oh, you got them down to no health. All right, they come back full health. You're at half health. Bye.
Yep.
You know.
And they get well. The nice thing about healing fountains is that they at least it's the set amount, I know for sure, that regenerates over time. And if you get hit, actually I don't know if you don't get hit or not, but it does regenerate over time. So it's not like, you know, they walk behind the gate, they're about to die, and then like a second later they're back on the other side of the gate, full health, like ready to go.
Yeah.
So that makes it nice, but it's getting used to having that resource that's gonna really like separate the good players from the bad players.
Yeah, because like as far as your resource, you need to be able to like all right, you know, I'm just gonna regen this health now, and that way, you know, it'll be on cooldown the next time someone needs it. That's the thing, is not everybody can just go back and use it either. So as you said, it's got a number of times you can use it.
Yep, and with that 90-second cooldown, it's going to be what I noticed right off the bat was when I would use it, I would use it, and then I'd go, oh, I can just go run right back in, and I'll run right back in, and then I'll run behind the gate, and I'll be like, I'm almost dead again, and now I have to wait 60 seconds or, you know, 80 seconds if I took that much damage to use it again. So it's kind of just knowing that resource. So, but moving on, the spawn, I thought was pretty interesting, you know, with this whole mount thing being in the game. It's kind of cool that whenever you teleport with your Hearthstone, instantly mounts you. And then you almost instantly get your health back, from what I've noticed, which is kind of cool. Plus, go ahead.
Definitely. Yeah, that's really good because with some other games, it's like you'll regen health at a slow pace, at a steady, quick pace. But like it won't just take you up to like full health instantly, and that can create problems. So it's good that it lets you just be like, all right, you're almost full health, literally instantly. So because it adds in a possibility of the other team being able to just go in and then just keep killing you over and over.
Exactly. So you're attacking their nexus, and they constantly are just running behind there as soon as you get them low. And if the enemy walks into your nexus, they instantly die. So I see what you're saying. You know, it is good that it does regenerate over time, so you're not constantly just back and forth, you know, and you just never die. I mean, that was going to be a big thing. I just can't wait to see how this plays out with tournaments, honestly, like when it comes down to strategy and then people knowing when to use the Hearthstone and when to get back, because the maps are pretty small. So, you know, if you're about to die and you run behind a gate and your healing fountain's on cooldown, you can Hearth and you could maybe be back to that same position in 10 seconds if it's the first gate. I don't know the exact time.
Yeah, and it's also like knowing like, all right, we've pushed the lane enough, you know, there's not a big objective in our face right now. You know, good time to go B right now to the base. So
yep, no, that's a good point, because instead of just standing there and sitting at 40% health, and then by the time the enemy revives and gets back there, you're at like 50% health. Yeah. So yeah, no, that's a good point. So another thing I've noticed too is that they have shields. They don't have shields in Dota, right? Or do they?
It depends. Like a hero will have the ability to make one, but not really.
Okay, explain that a little bit.
Like there's a hero who can be like Abaddon. He puts a shield around his teammate or himself, and basically it just absorbs all the damage.
Wow, so you can do that in a building too, then, right? Or no?
You can't do it on any type of buildings.
Okay.
So.
I know Tassadar. That sounds like Tassadar the most, because he's like one of the only people, I think, only heroes that can do shields, and that's extremely frustrating.
Oh yeah, I can imagine. There's a technique in League called barrier baiting, where barrier is basically a shield.
Yep.
Where it's one of your summoner spells, and you know you just keep getting attacked. As soon as you get low health, you just barrier bait, and it's like you can just take like a third more damage than you already did, and you just kill the person.
Wow. Well, it's all going to come down to strats, you know, like if people are going to be able to use that, because a lot of the stuff, it sounds like in Dota, is going to translate over to Heroes, at least with, these different types of. I mean, it seems like Dota has a lot more characters, or like I should say classifications, like carry or nuker or things like that. While its Hero only has 4 right now.
Yeah, that was when I was new. You would notice like most games usually only have like 5 like different classifications of their characters, but that does have like 10. It can be confusing, but also it's like some of those play different roles for other things. So
okay, so like a carry, like a support or something like that could be like a more aggressive support or something like that.
Yeah, they could be like they could be like nuker, or a support could be like nuker, lane support, jungler, any of that stuff. So.
Well, that's cool because it gives it more options and more utility to do things. As far as in Heroes, what I've noticed is like you pretty much have to call out where you're going to be. If you're going to be Tassadar and you're just going to be a pure support, you can really just be a pure support with your talent choices. Aside from that, that's all you can do, which makes me. We brought up this topic last episode. Our support's really going to be able to make that much of a difference, like by themselves. Yeah.
Yeah, with supports, it's always been important that as long as you maintain a level of just positive actions across the map, whether you're taking mercenary camps or healing or anything of that nature, you're doing the right thing as a support. There can be times where it's just like if you're just constantly like trying to man fight as a support and just dying, I mean. That's not your job. No,
not at all. So. Knowing your role, that's what it comes down to.
yeah, that's the thing. As long as the support's role is being played properly, I don't think they should run into issues like that. But
maybe it's not like for a new person.
Usually, at least from my experience, like support is something that takes mass knowledge of the game itself. Because being a support is you're giving the team everything that they need, but the thing is, you have to know what they need first before you can give it to them. And that's the reason why I say that. But
it's like you're giving. Normally, they have to be so concerned about their health or their positioning, but with the support, you kind of like alleviate that a little bit from them to give them room to just push forward or
creating space and definitely.
So, well, the shields too. I guess where I was going with that too is the buildings actually have shields in this game or in Heroes. So that's what I'm saying. Like, is it? I guess I like the idea from like a defensive standpoint, but I can be a little aggravating from like an offensive standpoint. What do you think about that?
Yeah. What exactly are the shields like?
I'm double checking right now, but what they do is they're like it's 20%. I believe it's on only the Nexus. I could be wrong. Let's see here. I know I read it.
Okay, yeah, all right, I found it. Like 20% of current HP.
Yes, it's that. So, I mean, I'll just go ahead and say what I was thinking as far as it's gonna almost make the dynamic harder for individual heroes, partially because. If you're going one-on-one against a fort and you don't have minions, which I don't know why you would be doing that in the first place, but constantly you're like, all right, I'm going to do a little bit of damage to this fort, and then you have to pull back. And then, oh, shit, it just got 20% more health again,
Yeah. I can definitely see how that can be a nuisance when you're trying to siege a base and we'll just win the game because it's like, all right, only one of us are up right now. I'm sitting here trying to right-click this base to death, and I can't break this 20% shield HP threshold. So
it's gonna just add a new dynamic to the game, I think, and it's gonna make it more team focused, which it should be.
Yeah, definitely.
But all right, where are we at here? Okay, so this is a pretty big thing, partially because the game right now, like I said, I've only played a little bit of it, so I don't know that much more at all. But actually taking talents like Call Down Mule, which heals structures, which that's the only way you can do it in the game, and then Demolitionist, there we go, which is kind of interesting. It allows players who damage the enemy team structures to deplete 2 rounds per hit, which those of you that don't know, they actually have rounds for forts and the cannons. So when they do run out of it, they have like a refresh time on ammo. So I just don't see people taking this because I don't know. Like, does it seem that strong to you?
The call down.
I mean, both of them. I mean, give me your opinion on both of them because A, to heal something, that's kind of nice, but then B, then you do more damage to it. All right, well, if I just have an advantage with minions, then it shouldn't matter, you know?
Yeah. It's one of those things where we talked about it's going to be very situational as far as its usage. Like, call down is an interesting one. The fact that, like, it's granting it health and ammo over 30 seconds. Like, I can't find a cooldown at all for it.
Neither can I.
But I would say it depends whether you're able to, like, completely fortify that structure. To where it doesn't even take damage if someone's attacking it. Because if it could do that, then I think this could be a very good one as far as, like, preventing sieges. But I would just have to see this in action just to see how it would play a role in a lane match.
Okay, so I'm assuming that it's only repair. It says repairs in the title, so I'm assuming it's only going to go. What you're saying is it can go like above and beyond, pretty much. So it's in like even improved structure. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Well, yeah, kind of. Where if this were to fortify something, I'd say it'd be pretty good. Where like it doesn't even take damage while it's being healed. But if it doesn't, I don't see this being that strong, at least from my perspective with it.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about those types of characters last week, about these siege characters that are different, the specialists. So, like, maybe like Gazlo or Witch Doctor, someone taking that, it might be nice to help. But like you're saying, it's situational. And that's why I'm like, maybe I'm just so used to being aggressive that I think that repairing stuff, well, why are you repairing something? Shouldn't you take a talent that regains health and mana faster or increases damage or something like that, you know?
Yeah, and I could definitely see like a specialist picking this up like Gazlo.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because he's already doing more damage to enemy structures, so why not be able to heal your own when you die, or at least go on the defensive? So, and then Demolitionist, I can kind of see, yeah, that's going to be situational too. I've kind of changed my view on it now that we've been talking about it a little bit, but I could see that because if you're thinking 2 rounds per hit and they have like 10, I have to check, but they have like 10 rounds total. That's actually pretty nice. No, 20, excuse me.
Yeah, they have 20, so 10 hits, you could completely deplete it.
And that's not even counting the ones that they're actually using per second to attack. So, I mean, that's just nice because it keeps your minions alive faster. And then,
and allows the push to keep going.
Exactly. Yeah, so, all right. You know what? You convinced me, Yoshi. I'm thinking differently about it. But it once again comes down to knowing the strategy out of the gate of, hey, I'm going to be Gazlo. I'm just going to be pure support and aggression on forts, you know?
Yeah.
That's it.
Which is definitely, it's a strange thing because it's almost like each one of these different heroes has their own meta to them. Where, like Gazlo, his whole thing could be just tower defense and tower sieging.
Yeah.
Which is totally a valid thing, at least from what I've seen. So
it is. I mean, that's why I'm very interested. I haven't seen any real like in-depth strategy done. You know, there's always some people out there that do this for any game. They do just those big breakdowns, but there's maybe like, when I've logged on, there's maybe like 600 people playing the game, honestly. So there's not enough people, there's not enough of a player base for people to start collaborating with one another, from what it sounds like. And as soon as ranked play comes into it, it's going to push even more, you know?
Oh yeah, definitely. That'll be huge. But I don't think we'll be seeing ranked anytime soon.
No.
But when it does, though, it'll be a nice thing.
Yeah, because they're not even done with. There was like a third option, or excuse me, another option that they haven't even released yet, where I think it's like individual versus. I could be wrong, where you like can actually challenge other people.
I'd like that. Just get a little off topic with there's this game called Bloodline Champions, which is basically a fighting game with MOBA, like action RTS style things, where it's just you and the other hero, and you're just fighting with abilities.
Is it like Is there
Yeah.
any other mechanics, or is it just like you're honestly like Street Fighter?
There's a couple other mechanics, but it's very similar. I was like, that's pretty sick.
Huh.
Because I really like 1v1 settings
Mhm.
in this type of thing. So I'll be really interested to see what they do if they do set up any type of like 1v1 PvP elements.
It sounds like Arena and WoW almost, because it's in Arena and WoW. It's like you can't do 1v1. You can challenge people to duels, but I know right now one of the things they're focusing on is when you do duel someone in WoW, you have to duel them where they're at. Whereas if you want to do like a duel, let's say against another player in an arena setting in one of the arenas, so if I wanted to duel you in like Blackheart's Bay, or if I think that's what it's called, and we're doing 1v1, we would have to queue with 5 other people and tell them, hey, 4 people don't go on each team, and then we're going to 1v1. Similar to WoW, 2 people have to queue for arena or skirmish against 2 other people, and then the other people have to be like, all right, don't attack, just let these 2 people fight against each other.
Yeah.
So it's going to be cool. It is going to be cool. I agree with you to see if they do take it different routes, which with any, like, you know, if Hearthstone, if WoW, if Dota, if any of these other games are to say, they're usually pretty good about seeing player feedback and doing things, because WoW is coming out with the spectator mode. Hearthstone, they originally said they didn't want to do it, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh yeah, we're going to do it now. We're going to do it now.
Yeah.
So it's going to push. But all right, back to the topic at hand. The last thing that we were really going to hit on was the forts and cannon towers, and then also just how they decided to set up the structures, because in Dota, correct me if I'm wrong, I've only played it for a week, but the structures are pretty much the same the whole way through, right? Like the towers hit for X amount, all 2 towers in the lane.
Yeah, tower hits. It's like you got your 2 towers, and then you get to the towers that are inside the enemy base.
Same thing.
And then like their health is their health are different. The first tier of towers, the tier 1s, they have about 1,300 health, and then they get to 1,600 for the rest of the towers.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So it's not anything like it is different, but nothing like too substantial, I guess.
Yeah. One of the things that I thought was pretty interesting was the ammo for the towers in Heroes.
The cannon towers?
The cannon towers. The cannon towers.
Okay.
Because I was like, oh, that's really interesting that, you know, they have these like ammunition for these defending positions, and cause that's a really weird thing, because I don't really think of that much when I'm like in the middle of a game. Like, what if this like, obviously, I mean, the regen on these towers is ridiculous as far as when they regen ammo.
Yeah.
But it's like they regen ammo 1 per 10 seconds. So I mean, they're always gonna have something. At least the way it seems like it to me. Mm-hmm. But
it's kind of like, from what I've noticed with the gameplay, it's if you're by yourself, they're probably gonna have ammo. Let's be honest. And you're with minions, yeah, they're probably gonna have ammo. But when you stick 3 heroes and the minions in there, they run out of ammo pretty quick.
Yeah. I was gonna say, because like if you have a lot of things just soaking up the tower shots, I mean, that thing's gonna run out in 10 seconds. You know?
And you have a support class with you that can heal you and protect you. You know, it's gonna they're not gonna do anything. The ammo is gonna run out, and then they're just gonna be freaking targets like walls.
That's a strange thing, because like, now I need to see like relative damage, how much these towers do, because I feel like that's a big part. Because if there was something like this in anything else, it would be like, all right, we're just going to get as many units as we can, and then once the tower can attack us, we're either going to force a team fight where there's no tower, or we're just going to take the tower, because I mean, it's not attacking us, you know?
Yeah, it's just it's barely there. It's not even.
Yeah,
it's a minion.
Which is a strange thing. So I really want to like actually get in and see what this is like how the tower hits and how it hurts and how it aggroes and stuff.
Yeah,
I feel like that's the most important part to dealing with towers and seeing how they operate, is to be like, all right, so I can not pass this line. Cool.
I guess the way I've looked at it too is the small cannon towers there's like the cap maybe is like level 10. This is not set in stone, but the cap is like level 10. Like by level 10, you should be able to take a small cannon tower and not take a significant amount of your damage. Now, if you're level 1, yeah, you're gonna get you stand there for 5
Yeah,
shots.
you're gonna get pelted. Yeah,
exactly. But if the large cannon towers, there's a reason why the outer cannon towers have less health, less damage, same amount of ammunition, but it's smaller compared to the large towers inside the actual base, or further inside the base, I should say. But because by the time you get to level 20, they're not anything too crazy. I can tell you that much, I don't know the exact numbers on things, but it's nothing crazy. By the time you hit level 20 and you get your level 20 talent, which of course is different for every character, but it's pretty, you can go in there like, balls to the wall and just mess up some things, because I've seen some people push a lane by themselves, which it doesn't, I don't think you normally don't see that happen in Dota, like late game. Usually you have to group up and make like a good push and then fall back, or at least that's what, maybe it's the brackets.
Yeah, it depends on the meta usually. I mean, most of the time late game you are as 5 either pushing or defending, but depending on like the way the meta is, because I mean Dota's meta changes with every patch, and like sometimes it's a pushing meta or a split pushing meta where it's like, all right, we have these 5 really good split pushers, we're all just going to push the 3 lanes separately, and we're going to scare this team into like submission because they're like, I don't know which one to defend. So
you kind
of like that.
You kind of catch them off guard and they're just like all flustered.
yeah, they're like, we're just losing towers like no tomorrow. So
but all right, well, yeah, that's I guess what I just wanted to kind of hit on the structures a little bit. I know that Heroes Nexus did release like a couple more things. Like they broke down they broke down the dragon statue one, Dragonshire, which as soon as you get into the alpha, we'll talk more about that one, because you honestly can just look at it and be like, oh, that's cool. I understand.
Yeah, I'm telling you, like Savage Charge, coolest thing ever right there.
Dude, it knocks you back too. It should say it just knocks you off the map, because it literally like pushes you back like over a couple walls. Like, maybe that's an exaggeration.
Like, that's what I want though. I want to do that. Like when we talk about things we're excited for, that's up there too. With the ETC alt is the Savage Charge as a Dragon Knight. Like that's what I want.
Well, which you will be happy to know that the heroes last week did have ETC, and I got to try him this morning. He's pretty stupid. Let me just be here to tell you. And we were right about the whole the slide where one of his ultimates is he can like go anywhere on the map. Yeah, he can go anywhere on the map. Like,
that's great.
But his other ultimate, which is interesting to see those two stack up next to each other, his other ultimate with assassins is going to be ridiculous because.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It's so useful. That's the thing, is that his first ult has the greatest utility in the world. It's a 4-second huge AoE stun, and
it sets up the kill for like the entire enemy team. Like if they all get caught in there, you literally can just like your whole team can just unleash on them. Like it's. But then what do you then you're making those choices there. What are you going to be? Are you going to be like more of an ETC like support, where you're doing those kind of things, or are you going to be what's this other one? I don't know what his other ultimate is. I was playing it though.
Stage dive, I think, is the one.
Stage dive. Oh yeah, you're right. Stage dive is the one. So are you going to be like mobile? You're going to be able to literally move it everywhere.
Because that's like being able to go anywhere. That's like super good as far as ganking someone. So it's like if you want to be a ganker, go ahead with that.
Or you're going to be the group support. Yeah. So it's cool to see those choices coming into play. Because I guess compared to Dota, you're stuck with those 4 abilities. What you have is what you got. Now, if you want to use them differently, that's up to you. But in Heroes, you get a completely different ultimate. Kerrigan gets the Ultra Tisk or Ultralisk or whatever it's called. I forget what hers is called. But yeah, different things like that. So. But moving on, we do have a little small strategy section that I want to hit on. This is a great quote from Heroes Nexus, and I forgot the little part of it that actually makes it a good quote. But it's, if you aren't helping your team with objectives, you're doing it wrong. And that is something, if you're going to take away anything from this podcast, that needs to be it, because I've been in matches now, and I've watched games too. If you don't go for the strategy, or the objective, you will lose. Like, believe it or not. But
it's just, that's the way it is. That's this game's. This is what the meta of this game will be surrounded around. Will be how to do these objectives, and it's like, it's really weird because this is gonna go backwards a little bit, but like, as far as queuing up, because you pick the person you want to play before you even do anything.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's really weird, because it's like, you can get stuck with anything.
You really can. Like, there's been times, like, I just played the Mines one about like a couple hours ago for the first time. So, and that we for example, I picked who did I pick? I picked Nova for that one, so it wasn't too bad of one. But you have to go into the mines, and the first time the mines opened, me and one other person went into the mines, and we ended up getting like 20 of the skulls. Okay. So of course our golem sucked, and then finally I was like, okay guys, we need to do the objective. We need to go in the mines. But you don't know. I honestly, looking back on it now, if I would have seen that map is okay, I'm going to be going in the mines, I would have picked like a warrior or some type of melee character instead of a ranged character where I'm going to be surrounded by walls, so I won't be able to get very much distance. Yeah, you won't be able to kite as easily. All of that. Exactly, and that is a weird. I guess that's a good point you brought up, that you don't actually get to see the map before you do it, before you actually pick your character. It's weird because you would build around that, and it's like, I wonder if they're gonna go forward with this, because like I said, like with no item buying, it's almost like you can, like, people have roles, but it's like, what if you get stuck with a team full of assassins? What will happen there? Let me tell you, stealth assassins suck a lot. I'm sure you know it from Dota too, because the one match we were playing with your buddies the other night, you guys were just running around stealth, and then like if someone needed help, boom, pop out of nowhere, dead. Like, yeah. Oh man, Clink's is fun. I know Zertile, or if that's how you say his name, is sweet. I tried him, and he has his ultimate, which is like a shadow. It's like a shadow step almost. Like, it increases your attack power, your damage on hits, give you health, and you constantly are like shadow stepping behind the enemy, so they cannot like get away. Like, you are just bombarding them. And it's cool. Like, granted, like, you usually kill the person. But a lot of times you overextend too, so it's gonna be interesting. Sorry, a little off topic, but I got excited for him a little bit, because he was one of the characters that kind of slipped under our radar last week when we were talking about it. I think it's funny too. One of his combat trait is a permanent cloak. Yes. And you may have recalled what one of my friends said last night about a certain hero in Dota whose ultimate is permanent invisibility. Which hero? Because Rikimaru. Okay. But basically, just walking around with invis the whole time. It's an interesting thing if the other team's not prepared for it. Well, that just goes to say, like, you have to know who you're going up against, what to expect, because if you go against like a team with two Zertiles and like a Nova, they're going to be stealth pretty much the whole map or the whole time. So, just like you were saying in Dota, like, you have to adjust to it almost, and you have to more or less be expecting it at any point, which which sucks, but it's part of playing the game, Definitely. But we kind of already had on the other strategy thing, which was the Dragon Shrine breakdown. It's cool that the dragon suit is pretty sweet. I'll be honest, that kind of makes or breaks some
That
fights.
game.
Yeah, it honestly, what I've been noticing with these objectives, and I know you can't speak to it too much, but they will, if you get the objective, like let's say you get a great golem, let's say you do get Black Heart's Bay, you do get all the coins, or you do get the dragon suit, you can more or less just guarantee that you're going to get one push through at least one area, like in a lane. You know, you're going to push through, like it's going to happen, especially with the Raven Lord curse one. If you get the curses, oh man, it's awesome. It's like everything's minions. You just like boom, dead, boom, dead, boom, dead. Yeah, even towers are like that too. They're like a couple shots and it's dead. But like I said, it only lasts for X amount of time, so you usually can only push through like to halfway through a lane or something.
Yeah,
like that.
so far. Yeah.
Yep. So it's gonna be interesting. See these objectives. But honestly, I think that was kind of anything big I wanted to hit on. David, was there anything that you were thinking of?
Oh, yeah, it's just like the interesting things was tower ammunition, man. That's a weird concept. Like I wasn't ready for it when I saw that. I was like, oh, all right.
But then it gives those, like we were saying, it gives those talents some use. It makes you think twice before you actually take some things.
Yeah, it's like, oh, now I'm gonna use demolition.
Mm-hmm. So, well, anyways, thank you guys for listening. We always enjoy doing this. It's interesting just to kind of like bounce some ideas off, and if you guys have any things that even from this discussion that you wanted to bring up, let us know. Some things we did talk about, or at least some sites. Normally we talk about that Stormable, that blog site. They haven't had anything too crazy. They did a couple hero analysis and hero lore and a hero quest guide, so it's pretty cool. Check that out. Let's see what else we got here. Heroes Nexus too. That's honestly, we pull a lot of our information. It's where we go during the show to see these stats, because they do a great job data mining all of this stuff. It's that same curse site that they use for every single game. And then it looks like on here right now they have new Demon Hunter and Tyrell. It's Tyrell, isn't it?
I think it's Tyrell.
Okay. They have some new skins on there, which they look pretty badass, I gotta say.
Yeah, the demon skin, super sick. I love it.
Yeah. But then also, we didn't bring this up at the beginning, but it's kind of a cool thing that Blizzard has going on right now on their actual Heroes of the Storm site. They're doing, I think I mentioned this to you, David. So you think you can cast March Edition. And what they do is they put a video that you can download of a game, and they pretty much set it up like at the beginning of the game. They show all 5 heroes lined up on each team, so you can be like, oh, and Rainer's using the United States skin and da-da-da, like Chef Stitches. But if you go ahead and post it, you upload it, and then you mention them in a tweet to, let's see, Blizz Heroes. They kind of do like a little blog highlight at the end. So I was thinking about giving it a shot. Why not? Oh,
yeah. That's definitely one of those things that I'll totally try. So
why not? You know what I mean?
Casting's one of those things where it's like it's one of those like guilty pleasures. It's like, man, I really hope no one hears me screaming in my room. Like my roommates and stuff. I don't want them to just hear me just going nuts and being hype and everything.
You're like, oh my gosh, they're pushing for the win.
Oh man, trust me, you're not gonna be ready when you hear it.
Yeah, I can't wait, man. Mention me in the tweet along with everyone else. Please mention the show too. More than welcome to. We'll kind of just hit. Thank you for listening. Email us at, like I said, heroestormpodcast@gmail.com. And that's heroestorm with one S. I'm gonna say it every time so people know. But then go ahead to reach the show. For everyone, it's at Teots Podcast, which is TEOTS Podcast for our Twitter, and then for me personally, I am at the Lupen with the underscore and capital T and capital L,
and I am at Black Yoshi. The O in Yoshi is a 0, so that's at Black Yoshi.
Yeah. So did you add this too?
Yeah, man.
All right. Well, and all hail the Nexus. But also before I leave too, or we both do, I want to thank my roommate Matthew Roberts. He's doing a lot of stuff with music. He helped me with the intro just to kind of get it going. I like it. Yoshi likes it. It's all good. So
Yeah, let us know what you think.
Yep, and thank you very much for listening. And everyone have a great night. Peace.
Deuces.